Here's a fast fact for you to digest. It's estimated 42,000 people in Collier County suffer from not having enough food. It reinforces the need to satisfy the hunger. An initiative by the Naples Daily News, we're once again working to stock the shelves of local food pantries. Our show this week kicks off with Mouths to Feed. Young, old, out of work, the working poor, or everyday people who need a helping hand and food on their plate.
We see the largest increase in our food pantry needs come in the summertime when hours have been reduced or some of our families are laid off because of lack of work.
Then go inside one of Southwest Florida's biggest charitable food operations. See for yourself how Harry Chapin is banking on donations. Plus, if you're itching to explore, we've got a handful of museums that are worth a look with world-class artifacts and exhibits. The best part is they're all close to home. We'll have those stories along with our Inspired Living Design feature. I'm Amy Osher, and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us. For all the attention given to the great wealth this area is known for, the haves often overshadow the have-nots. The reality is many of the people who help Southwest Florida thrive are not thriving themselves. Grace Place in Golden Gate is under construction, a massive building expansion reflecting the growing need for services. Grace's mission is to provide a path out of poverty.
You can. Good job.
For people like Delia Diaz and her family.
He's my son, John Garcia. Say hi.
Hi.
He's 5 years.
Delia is learning English here. John is in preschool. Between two more kids and her husband, money is tight. Food provided by Grace's pantry puts food on their table.
It's very important because sometimes my husband works 4 days a week or 3 days a week. It's difficult for him to pay the rent, the bills, many things in my house.
For an organization built on education, the need to feed was an important lesson.
Our food pantry actually started out of the response to the recession. We were noticing that our students were squirreling away their snacks and they were bringing them home to their moms because their moms weren't receiving food at school.
Every other week, a family can shop the pantry, taking home 2 bags of food. The first is prepackaged with staples. The other is fresh produce, fruit, and meat they choose for themselves.
Currently, we're serving about 225 families each week, which equates to about 1,000 people each week that comes through.
During the summer, there are more mouths to feed.
We see the largest increase in our food pantry needs come in the summertime when hours have been reduced or some of our families are laid off because of lack of work.
Every Friday from March 31st through April 28th, people can drop off non-perishable food or money at the Naples Daily News. The Satisfy the Hunger campaign is aimed at keeping food operations up and running through the summer slowdown. It's a blessing for mother of 7, Lolita Manzo.
My 2 youngest ones, they come here after school program.
She knows her kids won't go hungry as long as Grace is here.
They provide snacks and they provide dinner for them also.
The building blocks for learning starts with a full stomach.
If basic needs aren't being attended to and if a child or an adult is hungry, their ability to learn is greatly diminished.
By the time construction is complete, Grace Place will have added office space, classrooms, and a much larger pantry to help more people lead fuller lives. This is year 2 of Satisfy the Hunger. Last year, the month-long drive brought in nearly $63,000 and 5,000 pounds of food. Those resources going to local food banks and pantries. At that time, the Harry Chapin Food Bank invited us in to see how donations are turned into dinners.
Well, the Harry Chapin Food Bank is part of the National Feeding America Network, and we cover Charlotte County, Lee County, Collier County, as well as Hendry and Glades counties over into the Everglades. This is our volunteer sort area. This is the area where a lot of our food comes. We raise food from a variety of sources that comes through this area. It might be coming in from a retail store, your local Publix or Walmart. It might be coming in from a food drive that somebody did at your church or your school. This is our warehouse area, and you can see a huge variety of product. We're getting product from food drives and other sources. We're getting product from local retailers. We're getting product from major national brands and warehousers and distribution companies. This is really the core of what we do, and this is what the community helped us build. Last year we shipped over 18 million pounds of food out of this place. That food went to all of those agencies, which might be a residential program, it might be your local church pantry, lots of different kinds of programs. That enables them to stretch their very limited budgets so that they can concentrate on doing what they do, which is serving people in need in our community. And we're the ones who have trained professional staff who are taking the money that we're given and going and finding 18 million pounds of food to distribute to them at very, very low cost so that they can concentrate on what it is that they do in serving the people that they need to serve. That enables them to serve far more people than they would otherwise be able to do. This is a great example of what we do with volunteers, and it's a great example of how important volunteers are to us. The volunteers you see behind me are all sorting produce. They're sorting produce that we got in from growers locally. This produce will all go out absolutely free to the agencies that we serve. We're very proud of the amount of fresh produce that we were able to provide to the community here from the food bank. Last year, we provided over 6.5 million pounds of fresh produce to people throughout Southwest Florida. So this is our produce storage area. We have 4 different temperature and humidity zones. Different kinds of produce require different kinds of handling. We have meat that needs to stay frozen. We have other hard vegetables that like to be near freezing. Some produce wants to be kept moist, others wants to be kept dry. As I said, we have over 6.5 million pounds of different kinds of produce that we provide annually, and it's great stuff. We have carrots, we have apples, we have sweet corn, we have potatoes, we have onions, we have green peppers, we have all kinds of produce of various kinds. This is our agency shopping area, and this is a great place to talk about how hard we work to serve people in our community. We've found over the years that we frequently get things that don't fit neatly into a category. That we get an odds and ends of something, we may get something in an oddball size, and so when our agencies come in, they have an opportunity to shop through here while they're in our place and look to see if we have anything else that we've received from the community that they can make use of. And that's why we are very proud of how hard we work and how much we accomplish. Every dollar that we're given, we put 97 cents back into the community in the form of programs and food. That's enabled, we've been doing that for many, many years. We work very hard to be as efficient and good stewards of the money that we receive. We have a Charity Navigator 4-star rating. That's the highest rating you can get on Charity Navigator because we really care about our mission to feed people in Southwest Florida.
An effort like this has a lot of moving parts. Money contributions are matched up to $45,000 thanks to our partners in giving. We teamed up once again with 3 local philanthropies to pool resources. The matching dollars can make a huge difference by greatly increasing the amount of money that goes to local food operations.
So for all of the dollars that are donated, agencies like ourselves, the Schultz Foundation, the Community Foundation, and United Way are going to match the dollars. So it'll make a much more significant impact to the agencies in terms of their being able to go out and purchase new food.
With 1 year of giving under our belts, the partners made the decision to move up the initiative's start date to the end of March in order to catch winter residents before they return home.
This summer is a time of great need for the people who really do have serious food hunger issues. So by moving this up, we're able to potentially attract more of our seasonal visitors to participate in the campaign, whether it's through when they're cleaning out their pantries to move back north, or whether they're feeling like they want to spread more of their pocketbook out and donate to these organizations. So we'll be able to capture them by moving the campaign up a little sooner.
And speaking of helping people in need, a rheumatologist is a go-to for people suffering from many painful conditions. We'll take a closer look in our Positively Healthy series that's coming up after the break.
Our treatments have literally revolutionized the disease.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom-designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida, and now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now, 2 locations to serve you.
When your joints ache, you may chalk it up to an old injury or old age. But for 2 million people in the United States, aching joints are caused by rheumatoid arthritis. A complex condition, new drugs are changing the course of disease. Here's this week's Positively Healthy. When it comes to treating rheumatoid arthritis, timing is everything. In years past, this painful and incurable disease left patients with swollen and disfigured joints.
It's a very inflammatory arthritis and causes inflammation of the synovial membrane around the joints and can lead to destruction.
RA is an autoimmune disease, meaning the body attacks itself. In this case, the fluid that lines the joints. It usually starts in the hands and feet. If not treated properly, these joints can essentially fuse together over time.
In the end stages of rheumatoid arthritis radiologically, there's ankylosis, there's bony fusion.
Where there was once little optimism, there is now a silver lining.
Our treatments have literally revolutionized the disease.
Rheumatologist Alan Goodwin has a handful of new drug therapies at his disposal.
The gold standard is methotrexate, which has been around for years, but we have the biologic agents that can revolutionize and manage serious forms of rheumatoid. And we have a whole host of these agents targeting different portions of our immune system.
These next-gen drugs are making a real difference in patients' lives.
We're starting to talk about remissions in rheumatoid. With our appropriate treatments, we can stop the X-ray progression and the clinical progression of the disease with these agents.
With less pain and swelling, more people with RA are free to enjoy a normal life.
Now, when patients with rheumatoid come in, it's a pleasure because we can help these patients tremendously.
Time to take the show into the newsroom, beginning with our weekly commentary. Here's Brent Batten.
Thanks, Amy. Here's what happens in Tallahassee. A big political donor has $100,000 to spend and wants to do something for the state. So he gives the money to a group called the Committee for Children, or A Better Tomorrow for Florida, and says, with a name like that, I'm sure I can trust them to put the money to good use. That's a good one, huh? Here's what really happens in Tallahassee. A big political donor has $100,000 to spend and wants a particular result, usually a win or a loss for some politician. So the donor gives the money to a group called the Committee for Children, or A Better Tomorrow for Florida, and says, see to it candidate A wins, or see to it candidate B loses, and don't let my name get attached to it. So the Committee for Children takes the money and gives it to A Better Tomorrow for Florida, which gives it to the Council for Prosperity, which gives it to the League of Upstanding Citizens, which uses the money to buy attack ads and mailers it puts out right before the election. A state representative, Joe Gruters of Sarasota, has filed a bill to put a stop to this. It would prevent one political committee from donating money to another committee. The big donor could still give the money to get candidate A elected or candidate B booted from office, but it would be harder to hide his tracks. You won't be surprised to know that as of today, the bill has gone precisely nowhere. No votes, no committee hearings. The entrenched politicians who run the legislature see no advantage to making it harder to conceal the source of last-minute campaign ads. They talk a good game when it comes to transparency, but it turns out it's really just a joke to them. The rest of us aren't laughing. I'm Brent Batten with the Naples Daily News. Thanks for watching.
While season may be winding to a close, our reporters are definitely not slowing down. Here's a look at what we're covering on the beat.
Thanks, Amy. This week we're going to take a look at the future of Immokalee's Promise Zone. Now you may remember that the Immokalee was named one of 2 rural communities as a Promise Zone in the entire country near the tail end of the Obama administration in the White House. It's an Obama-era program, so obviously leaders were a little concerned with the new administration coming in, whether or not it would stay. It seems to be staying right now. Leaders are cautiously optimistic they'll get to keep it. What it does is it gives Immokalee preference on a slew of federal grants out there for education, roads, health, safety, welfare. Any federal money, Immokalee now has a kind of a leg up on capturing over other communities. So it doesn't seem like they're that worried about it being cut now, pretty much because it's not really a line item in a budget. The federal government isn't paying any money to keep this program in. Instead, what it is just the preference. So we're going to find out more about the future of that program, and you can read more about it on naples-news.com.
Hi, I'm Ashley Collins. I'm a reporter with the Collier Citizen. This past week I got to go on the Orange Jeep tours in Ave Maria. It's actually pretty neat. I got to go on basically this orange Jeep with my driver Mike Sullivan, who took me through acres of land west of Ave Maria owned by the Collier family, and I got to see alligators, blue herons, plenty of other birds, and it was just spectacular to see all that. Often this area is associated with, you know, our turquoise waters and our sandy shores, but it was nice to actually go deeper into the mainland and see more of that nature. So to check out more on this story, visit naples-news.com.
Hi, I'm Harriet Heithouse, arts writer for the Naples Daily News. Once upon a time, there was really no opera in this city. That's hard to imagine today, but Ron Bowman and Jean Buffo set about to change that. Ron jumped out of coffins to sing opera arias for Halloween. Jean took people on bus trips to Miami so they could enjoy real opera. Now we have 2 opera companies, so what happens to them? Read about it in today's Naples Daily News.
Throughout the month, our newspaper and website will feature weekly stories focusing on the demand for food and basic supplies for our friends and neighbors in need. It kicked off with Lisa Conley's look at a relatively new food pantry that helps an underserved community. Church leaders on Marco Island were surprised to learn that 30 to 40% of elementary and middle schoolers in their city are eligible for free or reduced cost meals. So 9 local churches took action, forming Our Daily Bread, a local food pantry filling a need in their small resort community.
Surprisingly, Marco is actually home to a lot of people who struggle because they work seasonal jobs. So when it's not season, their hours get reduced and they find it really hard to make ends meet. And the people who started the program recognized that. And so they decided to start this program, especially since the nearest food bank was in East Naples. There's nothing else on Marco.
Our Daily Bread just opened last year. Lisa says they're happy to get a boost from Satisfy the Hunger.
The director of the food bank actually started tearing up when I told her what we were doing and that they were included in this big effort. She was just so thrilled.
You can read the full story by going to naples-news.com and searching the keywords Our Daily Bread. All month long we'll feature stories on how your donations will be put to good use. Coming up, giving your home that pulled together look. It starts with making smooth transitions. Our expert design team explains what we should be doing. That's ahead on Behind the Headlines.
It's Bear's half-off select brand sale. We're slashing prices. Save big on the best of the best brand names like Bernhardt, Paula Deen, Broyhill, Hooker, plus more. Save half off on the Tootsie 100% all genuine leather sofas. This dining table from Bernhardt, half off, just $9.97. $50 million of furniture and accessories ready for immediate delivery. Bear's half-off select brand sale. Don't miss it.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full-service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA Triple Check Insurance Review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA Triple Check today.
It's a stumbling block for many of us, trying to make sure our home decor has a unified look throughout the house. It gets easier if you follow a few design principles. Kathy Smith joins me in this week's Inspired Living. Rhythming is an interesting concept when you think of mixing it into kind of a home decor. What do you mean when you say rhythm?
I know, it sounds like a song or something, doesn't it? It sounds like a, but actually in design, rhythm is very important because it's like more like texture. It kind of like denotes movement. If you look at the hardware, for example, on this dresser, it's very beautiful, it's very linear, it's kind of like, it gives you a sense of rhythm in that it's repeated in the mirror and it's repeated in the bed.
And you said within rhythm, there's a couple different design elements and concepts we have?
There is. There's transition, which is if you're walking from one room to another, let's say, and there's a design element in one room that you want to bring into the next room. Say you have an archway, so you might want to do something in this room that mimics that same roundness to it or half roundness to it, so that when you walk into the next room, you're bringing that into the next room. So it's a very good design concept to use because it gives the client a sense of, oh, this all ties in.
Now, some of these, though, do you mix more than one progression? Would you have that also
sure.
with
You
some
would
of the
have.
others?
You need to have. If you're doing accents, if you're doing accessories, you want to group them all together, 3 different heights. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It can be different things. You can have different accessories. One needs to be taller than the other, and there should be 3. And that mimics in nature earth, air, sky. And that's why we do it in design.
So in total, though, when you do all this, you end up with a very kind of a satisfying, good look?
You do. You end up with an interesting, creative, but yet pleasing design. And that's what everybody strives for.
That is. Yeah. Thank you. Southwest Florida has a rich history when it comes to museums. They span our past and present, from pioneer roots to modern art. We've assembled a few must-sees. If you're hitting the road soon, any one of these make a good drop-in. Starting down south in Collier County, you can learn about the Calusa Indian Nation along with what life was like for the area's early settlers by visiting the Collier Museum. The Naples Depot Museum flashes forward for a look at advancements in travel. From railroad to car, it has plenty of interactive exhibits. An educational must-see is the Holocaust Museum of Southwest Florida. It provides a snapshot in time, looking at the history and lessons of the Holocaust, using artifacts, photos, and books, along with traveling exhibits. Art lovers will love the Baker Museum, located at Artist Naples. It's a 3-story, 15-gallery space dedicated to modern and contemporary fine arts. Finally, you can't miss the Edison Ford Estates, whether you've been there or not. The historic buildings, botanical gardens, and inventors' workshop make it well worth the trip. That will do it for this edition of Behind the Headlines. Thank you for making us part of your day. You can always connect with me through my Facebook page, Amy Osher Reporter, or catch up on past shows by logging on to naples-news.com. On the left-hand side, under Quick Links, select Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week.